It's promotion time, and this time we're included.
Stand up! Vanguard!
Hey card fighters, welcome back to another card update, and today we're going to talk about promos. And usually we do not tend to cover promos when they get revealed for the OCG, as 9 out of 10 times we're not going to get them here in the TCG. However, with the introduction of the new major booster set Infinite Deity Cradle, they also announced a new promo campaign where they're going to include a box stopper with 2 cards in that box stopper itself, and those are going to be 2 promo cards. And we saw the list on the previous livestream this Tuesday, which promos are going to be featured for the OCG. However, today, with the release of the English slides of that livestream, we've got the announcement that we're also going to get that same campaign, but in our case, we're going to get different promos. We're going to get the promos we didn't got in the past year. So 1 promo per clan is what we're going to get, and it's going to be all new promos for each and every individual clan, and in most cases these are nice additions to the deck, and in rare occasion for certain decks, these are some insane new promos. So the promo campaign, as I just hinted at earlier, is going to be a box topper for Infinite Deity Cradle. And it's going to be 2 cards in that box topper. And in this slide, they also state that you have a chance of getting a triple R. I'm not certain what they meant by that. It can be that we're going to get a triple R foiling of one of the promos. We have a chance to get one of those. Or we're going to get a triple R in the set in the box topper. It's very confusing. I'm going for the side that we have a chance to get a foil version of one of the promos. So 2 promos per box is pretty nice, as soon as we have 24 promos to go around. So because we haven't really touched upon these promos, and maybe you do not know what these promos are and why they might be very interesting for your clan, we're going to cover them really quick to just basically showcase what the skills and a very quick tip to maybe where it's useful or not. So 24 cards to go, so let's jump right into these new cards. So first off, we're going to start for the one for Royal Paladin, and that's Elegant Knight Gillick. And its skill, and it is a grade 2 10k, its skill is Auto Rearguard Circle. When it attacks a Vanguard, while not boosted, costs Soul+1 and increase or decrease the power of this unit until it becomes the same as the power of one of your opponent's Vanguards until the end of turn. The power becomes same when it is chosen. So basically, this is a unit that will always hit the opponent's Vanguard. It's not really that useful in a Force clan, as you already have Force markers, which it will be called upon, so it's not really that interesting. However, this could be useful maybe in a premium build, as you have a lot of multi-tech capabilities, and you could tech this into your build, as when your opponent is hitting a couple of defense trigger, or maybe one, and it shut down your combo, you can end it off by going into this one, and this will always hit no matter what the circumstances is. So it could be a unique tech card for that at least. Then we have the one for Oracle Think Tank, and that is a new grade 1, a 7k body. That's Imperial Shrine Guard no Suchi. And it has a very unique skill. It's Auto and Vanguard Circle. When placed, put any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you put 1 or more, draw the same number and shuffle your deck. So basically what it is, this is a extra mulligan that you have accessible. So if you have a bad hand, you mulligan for it, and you still have this one in your hand, and you mulligan into a terrible hand again, you can then write it on your grade 1, use its skill to shuffle everything back, and then draw the same amount. And you can also combine it with your starter, as you can draw first and then mulligan your entire hand once again. It could be useful for Tsukiyomi, as maybe that, as for Tsukiyomi, it's very important to hit your right chain as consistent as possible. This could somewhat mitigate the problem if you miss it, that you can maybe draw into your pieces and have a more consistent. The only downside to this card is it's a one-time use only, and a very specific timing. You need to write it on your grade 1 turn. Then next up we have the one for Angel Feather, and that's Medical Gunner Hemiris. And this grade 2 8k body, it has the skill continues on Rearguard Circle and Guardian Circle. If you have 5 or more cards in your damage zone, this unit cannot be retired by your opponent's card abilities and gets power plus 10k and shield plus 5k. So basically, this has a same ability that we had with Promised Daughter. It's very annoying for your opponent to get rid of, but it's only active when you're 5 damage, so when you're very late in the game. The awesome stuff is that it's an 80k attacker, or a 10k interceptor, or 10k shield in hand, so it does have some uses in that, but sadly it's very restricted in use as you need to be on 5 damage. It's similar to what we have for Nova Grappler with their Status Hustler, only difference is Status Hustler can be used outside of that scenario. It can be useful, and when you have 1 damage or you have 4 damage, it's not only confined to the 5 damage. So that makes this card very limited, but it could be a tech option in a certain build where you're going for late game. Then next up, we've got the one for Shadow Paladin, and that's Impetuous Knight Verdiate. And this grade 2 has a very simple skill, Auto Reroll Circle. When your Blaster Dark is placed during your turn, this unit gets power plus 5k until the end of turn. So it's a support card for Mordred's Phantom Blaster Dark builds. I mean, it could be, but it's very limited and very linear, and it's only for a very specific situation. So I'm not really thinking that you're gonna run this card in any type of scenario, but you could make a theme deck for Blaster Dark, so there's at least that. Next up, we got a very interesting grade 2 for Gold Paladin that might be actually pretty useful, and that's Ladybug Cavalry. And her skill is Auto Reroll Circle. When placed, this unit gets power plus 3k until the end of turn. If it was placed by a card ability, cost, counter plus 1, and this unit gets power plus 10k instead of the 3k. So this could be a 12k attacker in all situations when you're gonna call it, and if you can combine it with other skills, then this would be a 19k attacker. That is pretty decent, as the current Gold Paladin build does have some issues hitting for magic numbers, and the fact that this one at least can hit those numbers on her own might be very useful. And also the current build for Gold Paladin might not really use that much counterblast depending on how you build your deck, so paying that counterblast cost might not be an actual problem, and gaining that extra power might actually help you to overcome defensive triggers, as a lot of stuff will be shut down by one defensive trigger. Then next up, we've got a very interesting grade 2 for Genesis, and that is Angelic Wiseman. And Angelic Wiseman might be scaring a lot of people by the name of Wiseman itself, as their PTSD might kick in. And this unit does have a similar skill that could be used in the same way, as his ability is Auto and Vanguard and Rearguard Circle. When it attacks a Vanguard, costs Counter plus 1 and Soul plus 2, and 3 of your units in the front row gain power plus 5k until the end of turn. So it is similar to the grade 3 Wiseman from back in the day, where the Wiseman loop in the G era was a thing, could still be used in Premium right now. This does interact with the loop as well, as you can use it in the same gist of it, on attack, Soul Blast, Reset, and all that kind of stuff. But it does cost a counterblast, so it's limited in use in that kind of sense. But it does give your entire front row extra power, so you could pump up other units while doing this, and then maybe have the grade 3 Wiseman for premium on the front row. That will gain more power because of this Wiseman, and then when you're out of counterblast, then you can swip the loop over to that Wiseman and keep going with a much stronger Wiseman at the same time. So this could be a very useful card. In standard, it might be limited right now, but as we've seen, we're starting to get more soul charging units, so this might actually be very useful in Genesis in a certain build where you have more freedom of your soul. Then we get over to the Dragon Empire cards, and we're going to start off with the one for Kagero, and that's this grade 2 Meld Stream Dragon. And its skills, Auto and Rearguard Circle. When it attacks a Vanguard, costs Soul plus 1, and this unit gets power plus 5k until the end of the battle. Then cost counter plus 1, and it gets plus 15k instead of 5k. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of this card. It doesn't really do anything, it just gains power, but it's enormous. You need to pay a Soul Blast and then additional Counter Blast to gain a 15k power increase. I'm not buying it. I'm not really a fan of this card. So maybe you want to play it just to have some more aggressive options for higher numbers on your rear guards, as Kagero do lack in that sense. But with the latest support with Blade Master and all those cards, you probably have better options in your grade 2 spots. But then we get to an interesting grade 2 for Narukami. And honestly, at first glance, this might not look like a good card, but when you take a look at what it means and how it works, it could actually be a pretty decent pick for the new Gauntlet Buster build, as this is Volt Pike Dragon. And it's a grade 2, 12k body unit, and you with a skill that is continuous on Vanguard and Rearguard Circle. If your opponent's front row has 2 or more units, this unit cannot attack. On first glance, this sounds bad as we already have the 12k grade 2 vanilla card that doesn't have the skill, so you can attack anytime what you want. So why would you run this card over the 12k vanilla that comes in the trial deck? Well, the reason why you want to do that is because not only does this card has 10k shield, so you get a 10k shield on a grade 2 body. That's pretty good for an Exo clan that utilizes its grade 2 to defend itself. But also, the restriction that your opponent must not have that amount of front row units. When you're playing Gauntlet Buster Dragon or just Narukami in any sense, then that isn't really a problem. You're going to be able to do that. And also because it's a continuous ability, if you do not have the retire options available to you, you can just ram in those units with your other rear guards and then potentially open up this unit to then attack again. But the fact that it's a 10k shield is pretty decent for Gauntlet Buster Dragon, and this might actually be a good grade 2 option for the build, as Gauntlet Buster Dragon doesn't really need a lot of rearguard support that can also bind, as itself is sufficient enough to basically destroy your opponent's field. So a pretty good inclusion for Narukami. Then we've got a very amazing promo for Tachikaze, which Tachikaze players has been waiting for the longest of time, and that's this grade 1 Savage Trooper. So you're finally going to get this card for your decks. You just need to wait a little bit longer to get it, but it's coming, guys. And for everybody that's asking what's so good about this card, well, it's because its skill is Continuous Rearguard Circle. For every card in this unit's equip gauge, it gets power plus 5k. This was a unit that allows Tachikaze to pump out enormous numbers, as this could be either a good attacker or a good booster, and because it stays continuous during neither opponent's turns, so it means the power will be also active during your opponent's turn, just like we've seen with the new grade 2 Trooper Karo Kanto. So this is a great addition for the deck to have some more valuable units that stick on the board, which your opponent cannot really remove very easily unless they have spot removal available to them. So this is a very excellent support card that can help Tachikaze players to amp up the power pressure even more, and it does also synergize with the new VR as well. Then next up we've got a promo for Murukuma, and that's this grade 2, the Stealth Rogue of Indignation, Meomaru, and it skills Auto Rearguard Circle when it attacks, costs Soul Blast 1. All of your rearguards with the same card name as your Vanguard gets power plus 5k until the end of turn. This is also a very warm welcome addition for the clan, as it synergizes not only with Mandala Lord with all the cards that copy the Vanguard's name, but it is also a very good support card for the upcoming new VR Hyuga, which turns everything into a Hyuga. So this card pumps up the power of the field even more, and this is going to be a vital piece for that deck to pump out enormous numbers. So the fact that we're finally going to get this card is pretty amazing. Then next we've got the one for Nubatama, and that's a grade 1 8k Stealth Beast Kojiki Tenko, and it skills Auto Rearguard Circle. When the attack it boosts hits a Vanguard, cost counter plus 1 and return this unit to hand. On first glance, this isn't really an amazing card. It does cost Counterblast and it has an on-hit Vanguard ability, so it's very limited to use, but it's a nice upgrade, or at least a tech card for the Magatsu build, as you want to have as much possible options available to you to activate his Soul Blast, Rebounds field, and then call everything to the field. And the more cards you have available that can activate the skill, the better. And this card can also help you clear out the field, so you're not forced to call units on top of each other. So the fact that you have another card that can remove itself from the field, or at least trigger some effects, is pretty nice, even though it's behind a Counterblast and a on-hit Vanguard ability. Next up, we've got a very amazing promo for Nova Grappler, and I wish that it gave us this card a little bit sooner, because that would have made my games in my standard Shop Challenge tournament a lot easier. And I'm referring to this grade 1 Hard Hit Scrapper, and this boy is pretty nuts, as it skills Auto Rearguard Circle once per turn. When it stands, if this unit is in the front row, you may have this unit gets power plus 5k until the end of turn. If your damage zone has 5 face down cards, it gets plus 10k instead of 5k and counter charge 1 and soul charge 1. So basically what this card allows you to do is you can put it onto the field in your front row, and that's basically what you want to do with Nova Grappler thanks to Kick, and leave it there, and next turn when it's still alive and you just stand them in the stand phase, it turns into a 13k attacker. So it can hit over anything, no problem. And also if you just call it on grade 1 and you ride up to grade 2, it's then also a 30k attacker, which will beat over your opponent's 10k if they're playing force. So this is a very good aggressive tool. But also the fact that if you're at 5 damage and you used everything just to go nuts, you can then potentially get free resources out of it, and you get additional power is pretty insane, because a counter charge and a soul charge basically enables you to do 2 additional attacks, because the soul can enable you to use Grand's Dragon again, and the counter blast will use either your Vanguard skill or your kick. And you can combine this while using Kick to stand this thing, and Kick could use the last counter blast, and then because you stand him, he gains an additional 10k, and you counter charge and you soul charge, and maybe then when you attack with him, because you just soul charge, then you can use the soul charge to soul blast 1 and restand Grants. These things that combo together are pretty insane, so this card is pretty good in my book. The next up, we've got a familiar face to us. That's the Dimensional Police promo. That is Miracle Pretty, or as some might refer to, Dimensional Robo Dylander. But all jokes aside, this is the official card that was supposed to be with the skill, as her skill's Auto and Rearguard Circle. When placed, if your damage zone has 5 cards, 5 of your units get power plus 5k until the end of turn. So this is basically a last ditch effort when you're up at 5 damage, and you can, if you have this one on the board, you give everything plus 5k. And that's pretty nice, as it does help with you over getting your thresholds with your Vanguard, and it doesn't cost anything. That's also a nice addition. And it just makes everything a lot more powerful, as it gives 10k to each column if you have a full field. And it's actually pretty decent for a free skill. The only downside is that you need to be at 5 damage, but depending on your playstyle, you either prefer that or you actually don't like that at all. Now next we've got a grade 2 promo for Link Joker, and that's Shredding White Blade Lapidium, and this is a support card for the bind mechanic, as it skills Auto Rearguard Circle when your opponent's rearguard is bound by your card abilities, cost, counter plus 1, and bind all of the rearguards in the same column as this unit face down. Count your units too. So basically, when you use its skill, the entire column in both players' field is going to be bound face down. But if you use it right, you basically trade him for 2 cards from your opponent, as you can just bound something else in the other column and then activate its skill to remove the entire column which he is positioned in. And you should, of course, do not have a booster behind him, otherwise you're nagging yourself. But it does accelerate the amount of binding that you can do, and it can also allows you to put some back rows, maybe grid 1s or grid 0s, depending on what they have there. And it does synergize pretty well with Schwarzschild Dragon if you want to go that route, as you have more bind options available for a lower cost, because counter plus 1 and basically ditch a card to bind 2 isn't really a bad trade in my eyes. The next up, we've got a card that has been asked for by a couple of Spike Brother players to be introduced in the TCG, and that's Concealed Angela. And her skill is Continuous Rearguard Circle if 2 or more of your cards were placed by a card ability or put into your soul during this turn, this unit gets power plus 10k. And basically this is a very good addition for the current Spike Brothers that we have in TCG, as this card does synergize with all the cards like Maximum and High Speed Braki that puts himself into soul and call another unit, and she enables you to put out even higher powered columns to either on your rearguards or to have a more threatening Vanguard attack, which is General Siegfried. Then next up we've got a card that's actually already outdated, and that's the one for Dark Regulars, that is Imprisoned Fallen Angel Serakiel. And it's once again the 12k unit with the skill Continuous Vanguard to Rearguard Circle. When it would attack, if it cannot attack without Soul Blast 1. So you need to Soul Blast each and every single time you want to attack with this unit. Just like the Narukami unit, this one does have shield, but only 5k. And they also got a 12k beater vanilla card, so there's actually no reason to play this card, because you do not really benefit from Soul Blasting. You want to keep your soul as high as possible, and to Soul Blast for potentially the 5k shield is in my eyes not worth it, and this is just a throw in the dark that this isn't really a promo that you want to play at all in any type of build. Then next we've got a Pale Moon promo that's also very awkward, as it does have a good name, but the skill isn't really good. As I'm talking about Silverthorn Acrobat Leonore, and it is a Silverthorn, and this Silverthorn was introduced way back before Luquier was even a thing, so this hinted to the fact that we could possibly get Silverthorn back. But her skill is Auto and Rearguard Circle, when placed, cost, if your soul has 1 or more, soul bless all of your cards, and this unit gets power plus 15k until the end of turn. Yeah, this doesn't synergize with the Silver Turn engine at all. You know what it does synergize with? Gun Salute. This thing is the promo that can help Gun Salute to at least push out even more higher power numbers, and it can also enable you to use Gun Salute on your first turn basically every time if you have this one in your hand as well, because you soul bless your entire soul. And you have the extra 15k power on a potential Axel Circle that could be extra 25k on this 9k body. Is pretty nice, but it's Gun Salute. And soul blessing your soul in Pale Moon is never a good idea, so if you're gonna run it to Silverthorn, it's probably only for the name and not for the skill. Then a card that we're going to run for the skill and not necessarily for the name is Retro X Dragon 4 Gear Chronicle. And I'm very excited for the fact that we're finally going to get this card, as it does help the deck quite a bit, as it skills Auto Rearguard Circle at the end of the battle that it boosted, cost, counter +1, bind this unit, return a grade 2 card from your drop zone to your hand. So this card allows you to fetch your grade 2s, which you already used with their unplay skills that could cycle through your deck or bind even more stuff. This one allows you to get them back to your hand for the cost of a Counterblast, and we're not really using Counterblast because the 2 Counterblast draw a card from Lost Legends is not really your main concern. But it also binds itself, and it might be a bad thing as you're minusing yourself, but you actually don't mind because it's at least 1 extra grade in your bind zone to accelerate your total bounded grade unit, so that's actually pretty fine. And the fact that you can get your cycle cards back to hand, and you have all these kinds of good targets like Steam Mechanic Naboo, Lost Break Dragon, and that kind of stuff. So this is actually a pretty good card that allows you to be more aggressive, has more utility options, and just can at least increase the consistency of the deck quite a bit. So I'm very happy we're finally going to get this card, and we can try to experiment with this bad boy in Gear Chronicle as well. Then next we've got the one for Grand Blue, and that is Derek the Ghosty. And this is a very odd grade 1, as it skills Act, Drop Zone, cost, bind this card, put a normal unit from your drop zone on the bottom of your deck, and put the top 2 cards of your deck into the drop zone. So basically, you remove 2 cards from your drop zone to put 2 other cards from your drop zone, but one is going to be bound, and the other is a normal unit put on the bottom of the deck. And you don't really shuffle your deck, so there isn't really a point of doing this because you're still going -1 on your deck, so you're still going towards deck out with this skill. And you don't really fix actually something. Yeah, you can maybe if you're actually your drop zone is terrible and doesn't really have any pieces, but why would you want to put a normal unit back onto your deck? Because normal units are usually your key pieces for your combo plays, and especially since we have a card like Greed Shade, this card isn't really useful at all. So this looks to me actually again a throwaway promo that isn't really that amazing at all in any sense of the card. However, the one for Bermuda Triangle is a godsend, and it came in at the right timing because that's Live in Utopia Luca, the grade 2 with the skill Melody. And just Melody. It's a vanilla 10k with Melody. So it's synergized with all the Melody grade 3s that we have in the deck. And ironically, we just got the hit that we must choose between Lieselot or Sonata. So basically this is going to replace Lieselot, and you actually are fine with that because you have another card that can copy all the Melody cards if you don't have the grade 3s. You have this one. Hey, pretty fine if you ask me. So yeah, this is probably going to make Melody a little bit stronger before we're going to get the additional booster where the other Melody grade 2s are going to be introduced. So yeah, we can already try to get a taste of what grade 2 Melodies could look like. Yikes. The next one we've got the one for Aquaforce, and that is Battle Siren Parthenia, and her skill is Auto Rearguard Circle. Once per turn, when your unit attacks, hits a Vanguard, if it's the first or second battle of that turn, cost counter +1, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. This is a pretty good card for Maelstrom, and I'm talking about the older Maelstrom, as it does give your units an on-hit effect on the first 2 waves, which your opponent usually tend to let go through. So now they need to make a choice. do I mind to get a unit retired while I'm also getting damage? So this is going to make a difference in tactic, because now they can't really take the damage very easily, especially if you're up against another Exo clan which utilize and prioritize its rearguards over anything. So this is going to change it a little, at least up a bit. And also the fact that she doesn't have to boost for the attacks is pretty good, meaning you can just have her on the front row or any something else and still benefit from the skill. So I'm all for this one, and I think it's a good inclusion for Aquaforce builds all over the world. Then next up, we've got another amazing promo which we have been waiting for ever since the clan got its first support wave, and that is Stealth Millipede for Mega Colony. And this great one has the skills Continuous Rearguard Circle. If this unit is a rest, all of your opponent's rearguards in the same column as this unit cannot stand. And it also has the skill Auto Rearguard Circle. When it attacks or the attack it boosted hits, put this unit into your soul and counter charge 1. So basically this card is either your opponent is going to take the attack which this card is boosting or attacking, and you're going to get a counter charge out, which is very important for Mega Colony to get as much counter blast as possible, or they're gonna guard against it, but that means that all of the rearguards in that column cannot stand. They are basically stunned and you don't have to do anything for it. It doesn't cost you anything. So that's pretty good. So yeah, this has been a promo which Mega Colony actually needed, because its unhittability as well as the counter charge potential and the stun potential is so vital for the clan to make at least some effort to shut down some clans, or at least get some more resources while doing stuff. Then we get to the black sheep of the bunch, as the one for Great Nature is Stampsy Otter. Some of you might already say, didn't we already got this card, and wasn't this whole promo pack the idea that we get all new promos for each and every single clan that we haven't got introduced in TCG? The answer to that question is yes, but apparently Great Nature only got one promo in the entire run of the V series, and that was Stampsy Otter, and we already got the one in the sneak peek for the Answer of Truth Extra Booster set, so that took me a while. And basically its skills Continuous Rearguard Circle. This unit cannot be retired by card effect, so the same skill as Promised Otter. Only in current Great Nature this doesn't really do anything, as standard Great Nature doesn't retire its own stuff. And for premium you have better options available to you, so yeah, it's just here because this is the only promo that they got for Great Nature. Sorry guys. And the last one that we're gonna end off with is the one for Neonectar, and that's Frontline Valkyrie Laurel. And her skill is Continuous Rearguard Circle. This unit gets power plus 2k for each of your other rearguards. And it's a 9k grade 2. This isn't really a great promo or a great card at all, because it counts only other rearguard. So that means you're limited to 4 spots. So if you have a full field, she gains 8k, so that's a 70k attacker on her own. You have other cards that can come in, swing in for higher numbers more easily, and also have other skills on top of them. So there's no reason to play this card at all. So yeah, and once again another dot. And that's basically all the promos that we got. 24 promos, from which 23 are new introduced into the TCG. And I'm very excited the fact that we are finally going to get all these promos. Some clans are going to have some amazing new addition to the deck, and others, well, at least look at it like this, you don't need the promos, as your deck is probably already strong enough, and you're going to get more support later down the line or very soon, depending on which clan you're playing. So that's basically everything for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and hope you guys also are excited for the new promos that we're going to get in a couple of months. Let me know in the comments down below for which promo you're going to be most excited about. Which promo are you very happy that we're finally going to get in the TCG? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down in the comments down below. As always, I want to thank my supporters over at Patreon for making this video possible. You guys are amazing. If you do want to support the channel and everything that's happening on the channel, then head over to patreon.com/VanguardInsider and become a patron today. Well, with that said, I'm Mr. Time Leap, and I'll see you guys in the next one.